I bet you're sweet Asper cream. All right, we're just getting set up here. Managed moderators can support channel even in more ways. Introducing managing moderators. Let's not worry about that right now. Hey guys, welcome in. We're going to be working on some shafts again today because today is the day that ends in Y.
What?
Nothing. I said I'm going to be making some Turkish spindle shafts today because today is the day that ends in the letter Y.
Right?
All right. Hey, welcome in. Let's make a mess. Hey guys, welcome in. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you're new to the stream, my name is Scott. I am a woodworker from Wisconsin. So it's a very blustery day today. We have thunderstorms all day today. So we are turning hard maple. Hey, how's it going, Dion? Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. So yeah, we're back making shafts again. So I swapped out the filter bag in my dust extractor. I feel like there's a little bit more vacuum now than was there before, which is good. The other filter was just caked. So that was pretty much my high point of today. Definitely a coffee day today. So Vicky's doing some layout work right now, so I'm going to have some stuff to cut out on the scroll saw in a little bit. Yesterday I did not stream. I was working on some Tibetan spindles and some other stuff. We had packaging to do yesterday. So these are Turkish style. Where Tibetan is, rather than having the big arms on the bottom, it has like a built-in little whirl, and it's a support spindle, so you use it in a bowl, resting on a table or your lap, where these dangle in the air. Yeah, yep. Yeah, so the Tibetans have a whirl on them where like Russians are all one piece. Hey T, how's it going? Welcome in. Oh. So I make a lot of little wooden bowls for the supported spindle, and then I have this one. So this was made with 3D printer filament, the scraps, and I melted it into the bottom of a soda can. So that's how I got this shape. It's just a soda can, and it's just like the perfect size. I'm not going to sell these, but I mean, it used up some 3D printer filament garbage. Sometimes you gotta play, you know? After this one, we'll go check on the 3D printers. Oh, it was nice. We had some boxes coming from Uline, and UPS came this morning, like at the beginning of the window, the time window. Normally it's between 10:30 and 5 o'clock, and they don't get here till like 5 o'clock. Well, they got here really early, so we're not waiting around for them. Somewhat precise spindle base, right? Now, people have made drawers that fit into them, so you can stack them together and then have a whole bunch of little drawers that pull out. So you got your own little rotary compartment thing. Apparently she's laying out a lot.
A what?
We got our headphones in. It looks like you're going to be laying out a lot.
Yes, a lot. Sheep, cat. T-rex.
Okay, so these are all going to be cutouts?
Yep, narwhal, rabbit, alpaca, hummingbird. Yep, I'm going to go down the list. And
all right.
All out.
Yikes.
Yep, they're welcome. But it's not for to show, it's
Right? No, that's good. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So, see, I don't have very many empty spools. I just have these 3. Yes, she has. Well, she's been spending so much time on taxes. She's like, I'm not doing taxes. So today's a non-tax day. So, you know, we're getting ready for 3 shows all at once, which is quite a bit. Alright, so that one's good. That one is going to start up. This one's done. So we'll reprint. We got some dragons going again. Oh, I have to show you a dragon that I pulled off the bed this morning. So one roll of filament ended, and then it started another roll of filament. Over here. So the bottom started out with this kind of purple and black filament, and then went to this yellow and gold filament. But when it switched over, all the fingernails are different colors. So this little guy got its nails done. I just think that's hilarious. Totally accidental. So, if you're curious, this is what I see when we're streaming. So I've got one window with the chat in, one window with the live stream in, and then one window with some background noise going on. This one, the grain is going at an angle, so we're not going to be able to use this. because you could snap it. So we need to have them with the grain running parallel. So when I pick them up, I usually do a quick little look at them. This one is not entirely straight, but we'll see if we can get one out of here. I am watching Kindred Spirits. And the best part is, this episode has chipped coffee in it. Like the drink, just spelled different. Whenever chipped coffee is involved, you know it's going to be good. And I've seen these all before, so it's kind of like, you know, background noise. I'm not sure if he had a scarf on this time or not. He typically does. So yeah, I do have a lot of monitors running. Most of these monitors I have purchased at thrift stores. I didn't wake up one morning and say, I need a bunch of monitors, and went to the store. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic that I pay for all these streaming services and I'm watching the free Roku channel right now. That's alright. Oh, I gotta show you my free gift for ordering boxes. I'm pretty impressed. So we've been trying to get away from Uline. We tried Granger, and the quality of the boxes just sucked. So this is what we got for ordering more than $300 worth of boxes. So we got a little thermos. Best part. It's got its own little foldable spoon. I don't know why I think that's hilarious, but I mean, it makes perfect sense. You got a little soup thermos. Why not build in a little spoon for it? And it's odd, it's not Uline branded. A lot of times they slap Uline on everything. Yeah, that one's very not straight. So I'm going to cut it right here. That way I'll be able to get 2 little shafts out of it rather than... Yeah, I'm not politically the same as Uline, and the owners are very Christian. They used to actually send Bible verses and stuff with their package. But I can order boxes one day and have them the next day, and the quality is way better than anything I've been able to find. Well, like my flashlight. So, yeah. This flashlight is awesome. It's got a magnet so you can stick it to stuff. And then it's got a top. And then the bottom as well. So you can stick it and you can... I got one of these at home and one at work. And, you know, you can hang them too. But yeah. Slap Uline on that. Got a little bit of vibration in the top there, so we're going to make it into a 6-inch rather than a 8-inch. I just wish the thermos was like a plaid, a red plaid, kind of like on the Jerk. We also got a little step stool kind of toolbox thing. I'm not sure if that says Uline on it or not. But that was like the next level up. That's when you get like a pallet of boxes. I chuck it up this way, it should be okay. A pallet worth of boxes? Yeah, it depends on how many boxes you need. You know, the biggest issue with boxes is I need a bunch of different sizes, you know? Sometimes they'll run a deal where you'll get free shipping if it's above a certain amount, and that's when you start, you know, ordering pallets worth so you don't have to pay shipping. Because shipping is not cheap. I think the shipping, we got, you know, a couple hundred boxes. The shipping was like $50. Yeah, so primarily we only buy boxes from them. You know, a lot of times, you know, the last couple, you know, factories that I worked at, you know, they would order a lot from them because it was just easier. You know, if you need a pallet jack, you can just order one off Uline. You know, you're going to pay more than if you get it from somewhere else. It's just a lot less dinking around. Time is money. You know, it's like McMaster car. You know, if you need a specific bearing or nut or bolt or whatever, they'll have it. You'll pay a premium, but they'll have it. So yesterday it got up to 70 degrees. And today we have a high of 54. We're going to be in the 40s and 50s for the next at least 10. I believe we're supposed to get snow on Thursday, but there's going to be rain on Friday, I believe. So we'll get snow and then the rain will wash it away. Yeah, we cheated. We went out for breakfast this morning. One of the best parts about getting older is you can like share meals with your partner. Yeah, everything keeps going up. Oh, and then we shipped something off to Australia. The normal package, 5 ounces. And then all of a sudden we get a notification from Etsy that our package weighed 9 ounces and they charged us an additional like $15 or $16. No. But what are you going to do, you know? And I really hate the fact that Etsy does that and then takes money directly out of your profits. No, oh, something's messed up. Do you want us to proceed? Nah, they just bill you. And I have noticed that there has been a lot more things being held up in customs, a lot of things that aren't being delivered or they're marked as delivered and people start, you know, it says it's delivered but it never came and it shows up 3 days later. I eat that. I mean, they already paid, like the Australian order, they already paid shipping. only thing I could think of is, maybe put the wrong label on the wrong box. But if that would have happened, somebody would have been complaining already about not getting their stuff. And with the international shipping changing all the time, we try to stay ahead of what the actual shipping is. So if somebody orders something and they pay too much in shipping, we'll refund that. But if they don't pay enough, we eat that. I don't mind losing a couple dollars here or there, but an extra $15 seems a little, Well, the biggest part, my biggest issue is I always round up to the next ounce. So something is 4.1 ounces, I pay for 5 ounces. I don't round down. I mean, we have systems in place. We've been doing this for over a decade. A little bit of vibration on this one will make this one into a 6 as well. yesterday, I didn't get very much sleep at all. Today, Vicky didn't get very much sleep at all, so we'll see how late we go today. This one we got a little void there. I don't know how deep that goes. Yeah. Let me freshen up these lines here. Alright, so we're going to walk through what we're doing on this one. So we're turning hard maple. This is a 1/2 inch dowel. I used to make my own square stock out of boards. Doweling is just makes less of a mess. So I ordered this oversized. We're going to bring it to size. I'm going to be using this wrench or spanner as a caliper to make sure I have the right thickness. We're going to start out with the roughing gouge. We're just going to start bringing the diameter down a little bit. As long as the wrench slips over, we're on size. Got a line here, that's where my taper is going to stop. So everything on this side, we're going to bring the diameter down. Now we're going to switch from the roughing gouge to a spindle gouge. We're going to be using another wrench. Quick sand. This is basically just to sand this taper here, but you'll see I'll go all the way to the end just because I'm there. Now we're going to shut the lathe off while I'm backing off the tailstock. We're going to look at the shaft and see how it's running. It's running good. This is my test whirl, so I put this on. Then I'll take my story stick that I have this notch cut out so I can register against it. I'm going to transfer over the lines I need. So we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to put some beads in. I'm going to be using this beading tool. Then we'll grab the skew, come up to the top. There's a finial on the top of it, so we're going to lay that out. Define the diameter underneath. Go back to our spindle gouge, and we're going to taper it all together. We're going to burn some decorative lines between the two beads. So I've got some wire here. Turn the speed down and we'll sand it out. We'll start with the medium grit. And a fine grit. Then we'll turn the speed back up. Grab some wood chips. We're going to hold the wood chips against it. It's called burnishing. Think of it like a friction polish. Makes them very smooth. Now we're going to take some wax, just as a protectant. So So we did as much as we could while between centers. So we're clamped in on that side. This side, we have a live center, so there's a bearing with a pin, so that's spinning around. So since we're clamped in on this side, we can cut off the top. So we are currently, the lathe is running at 3,564 RPMs, and it looks like it's standing still. And we're going to cut it off on the bottom to a point. We're going to be using a skew for that. Rinse and repeat. Yep. And after around 20,000, they'll become really, really easy to make. A little bit of vibration up there. Not too bad. We should be able to get away with a 7-inch. How many different styles are there? There's quite a few. So I primarily make Turkish top rule supported, including Russian and Tibetan. I make a Scottish spindle. But yeah, there's a lot of different ones out there as well. So I thought we were going to be done with this one. It's got less than a minute left. So, is there an Australian one? Not that I'm aware of. So we pop this one off. Starting right away again, so it's not going to take too long for that to heat up. We'll go put this one away. So these actually, there's two pieces. So that's what it looks like. And then you wrap yarn around the outside. I'm starting to get a couple. Oh man. What's up? Just gonna get some coffee. When in doubt, coffee. Sometimes you need a little sweeten though. Hey honey, how's it going? Welcome in. We got coffee. So I definitely recommend getting a scroll saw to put your coffee and flashlight on. So we did. All right, let's make a mess. So Vicky is still busily laying out stuff. Take it over here. That's the pile she got laid out. That's what she's got left. Oh, it's gonna be a long day. So we got approximately 4 weeks, and then we're going to have 3 back-to-back weekends of festivals. So we have to make 3 shows worth. But then we get a break until September, I believe. She does not use the lathe, and she does not use the scroll saw, so. But she's got her own drill press and her own sanding equipment. Hey V, how's it going? I've been trying to get her to train up, but she refuses. She's like, I've got enough work to do on my own. So. It's not from a lack of trying on my end. So she is starting to lay out and design a little bit more on the laser engravers. It's kind of nice. Exactly. Until taxes are complete, I kind of tiptoe around. Hello, M. Welcome in. So the wood chips that I use to burnish, got a container here, and these are just what I gather from around the lathe. By my feet or whatnot. For a long time, I would just gather up whatever was sitting on the lathe itself. This is just easier for me. So the festivals tend to be in the fall, you know, when the shearing is going on. The sales, you know, it's pretty steady throughout the year. You know, a lot of times you do a lot of your spinning in the wintertime when you're not out gardening or taking care of some other things. That being said, people spin year-round. So the first few years that I was making spindles, winters tended to be very slow. But things have picked up, you know. You know, summer for me is winter for you, so. Hey George, I'm good. I got lots of salmon, so. Oh. Yeah, we're doing good. Trying to stay motivated. Easier said than done. I was talking to Vicky earlier, and like, you know, I love the workshop. We spent lots of years, you know, waiting to get big enough where we could get a workshop. And now I'm here, and now I just want to take a nap. We're both getting over some cold type, flu type thing. Alright, so this one is not very straight, it's bent. So I'm just going to take it to the scroll saw and cut it in half. So now I should be able to get two short ones out of this. So I normally had this in the past. I've had that hot glued on there, and it worked for a few months and fell off. It fell off overnight. So I said, forget this, and I actually put screws in there. So now it should be there permanently. Nikki is down to her last two boards. All right, you have a good day too. Sorry, I'm kind of today. That being said, I got an hour in though. So let's see how many 8-inch shafts we got done. I made a few this morning before we started streaming. I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 today. That's not so bad. $18, $19, $20, $21, $22. 23, 24. We got 2 dozen. Not too shabby. Yeah. And the good time was had by all. I appreciate that. Someday I'll hurt myself badly. I assume that's why people are watching. It's like you don't watch NASCAR to watch them drive around in circles. I don't know why anybody watches NASCAR at all. It's just me. Some more coffee. Yeah, I'm thinking in a couple days I have to get the CNC machines parked up and make some trays for the next few shows that are coming up. I just can't run the CNC machine while I'm streaming. It's just way too loud. I'm very glad that I opted to get a spindle for it rather than using a router. Because if I had to listen to a router running all the time, that would drive me insane. $25. Yeah, I believe Vicky is laying out 36 cutouts, so. So I'm gonna need 3 dozen of these. So there's a commercial for Blossom. And they're gonna play it twice in a row. Thank you, Roku. So now I got Joey Lawrence stuck in my head. Whoa! I think we all need a catchphrase. No. Oh, that's not good. So we're watching Kindred Spirits, and she's doing an EVP session, and she's like, I'm all alone right now. And then the EVP is like, no, you're not. I'm like, oh boy. Check, please. So I was, yeah, no more, no. But it's not like when you get like Ghost Adventures with that Hobbit guy Zach Bagans, you know, they ask a question, if they get an answer, they freak out. Then why ask? So I was looking at my analytics and my recorded videos. Most people who watch them are 50 plus. So I need to start incorporating more sweat hog comments in the videos. Just randomly up your nose with a rubber hose, I suppose. I don't know how I could go about getting sponsored by AARP. Although I'm a little disappointed in myself. So I'm just doom scrolling. And then I come across a video where they're asking about music lyrics, like, finish the thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm awesome at this. I'm so good at this. And then I look, and it is the AARP frickin' TikTok account. Like, oh, that's right, I'm old. Don't you know what yarn is? Do I have to start throwing in? We did a lot of stupid shit growing up too. We just didn't have it on video. And the people eating Tide Pods, Granted, there wasn't Tide Pods, but it was more natural selection. And growing up, we didn't have cable because we lived out in the country. So I only knew movies from, the edited for TV. I am 51. And if I'm going to have a midlife crisis, I better hurry up because I don't plan on living to 100. So I should probably take on an apprentice in a few years. Right? We'll get those done eventually. Well, the person who dies with the most spinning wheels wins, right? So I came across one thing of wire that was thicker than the other wires. So I can get away with one strand, but one strand like burns out really, really quick. we're making pencil shavings. Yeah. See, I can't have anything nice, so I just have to write on wood with magic markers. And this beautiful piece of cardboard. Well, this piece used to have like a piece that was a piece of paper that was on an inkjet printer that I glued to the wood. And I don't even have my be right back in 5 minutes anymore. You know, the cobbler's son has no shoes. It's just the way it works. And you know, it looks like I'm like up against a wall, and you know, I'm not. That's a mess, but that's all right. I have to use the bathroom. Pretend that says "be right back." I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I did switch over to some 3D printers as well, since I was in the neighborhood. So we do have to run to the post office again today. We have 3 wholesale orders that are pretty much complete. And I honestly don't mind running to the post office. Mileage is a write-off. Yeah, I mean, it's acceptable. I mean, it's not free. So we had to order more doweling. So they just came back with the price for... So we ordered 1-inch doweling in maple and cherry, 1/4-inch doweling in hard maple and in birch, and then we ordered more 1/2-inch maple. So the 1/4-inch maple is more expensive than the 1/2-inch maple, which makes no sense. Unless we bought way more of the 1/2-inch, so maybe there was a discount for quantity, I'm not sure. And remember, life's not the French Riviera. Because it's a living. Remember that show? I didn't realize how dirty that show was until, recently. Because originally I was really little when I watched it. Everything went right over my head. 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So if you guys are just tuning in, we are turning hard maple today. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just easier to live stream doing this. And there's a lot of little stuff that I make that I don't put on Etsy that's just for shows. Like the earrings, like a lot of the exotic wood earrings I don't list, I just take them to shows. Otherwise it becomes a nightmare trying to keep everything straight. So after we're done with these 3 shows, you know, we'll probably have a whole bunch of inventory to list. I like to have about twice as much inventory than I think I can sell, just to be on the safe side. Because you never know. Alright guys. Well, I am going to go get some food. It's 2:30 and we got our 2 hours in, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to get some food. I'm going to package. I'm going to go to the post office. I was kind of hoping Vicky was going to drill some holes, but I could do that after all that. So thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you next time. And have a good one. Bye-bye.